Today's daily number, $4.17. That is the national price of gasoline across the country, across the United States right now. Forget about Dogecoin. Gasoline is to the moon. All right. So in today's show, we're going to cover the market rundown as we always do. Ukraine, Russia update, sadly. Gasoline prices are the highest they've ever been. 292 companies that have withdrawn, actually 300 companies that have withdrawn from Russia, and Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and McDonald's in particular. We're going to be covering all that today in today's show. Who am I? I'm Kamari Yellis. This is the Finance Rebel Show. I am a tax accountant who talks about numbers all day long. I solve tax problems all day long. I am a former portfolio manager, a recovering financial advisor, and this channel is all about money. We talk about taxes, stocks, business, economics, politics sometimes. If it's about money, it's on the table for us. And so today, again, like I said, we're going to be talking about all those things. So let's jump into the market rundown. So sadly, we are still starting to see the market do or not do its thing. It's going to continue to be like that for quite some time, sadly, but that's what happens when you're in war. There's nothing safe when we're in war, right? But today, the S&P 500 closed at $4,070. All right, the S&P 500 is down 12.49%. Might as well say 12.5%. We already know the issue, right? Russia, Ukraine, oil, gas, all up, putting pressure on this. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the companies that have left Russia and how they're actually leaving money on the table, right? So we're going to see some companies take some write-downs this quarter. And what I mean by this quarter is every quarter, major publicly traded companies have to report their earnings. And we'll probably see a lot of them report negatively. So be on the lookout for that, okay? Oil prices. Can anybody guess what oil is right now? Gasoline's $4.17. Oil is $124.84. We might as well say $125. $125 right now. Oil is up $65. Oil is up 65.3% from year to date. So from January 1st to right now, oil is up 65%. Talk about a problem. Well, the only thing that's down today was the stock market. Oil's up. Guess what? Gold's up as well. Gasoline's up. Gold closed at 20,048, 2048. Might as well say 2050. Round it all up. Might as well not play these games. And gold is up roughly 12% year to date. So as I keep saying, it's not changed. Sometimes though, we might see some divergences that will give a little bit of clues. And what I mean by divergences, right? We might see stock market fall, oil fall, gold fall. That might be a precursor to let you know that something's going on and what you might call divergence. And so keep an eye out on that as we get into these markets and everything else. Keep an eye out for that. All right. And so, as always, we're here to talk about money, right? Sadly, there's a lot of stuff going on. I want to know, when's the last time y'all filled up y'all gas tank? Now, I'm actually scared to fill it up. I'm going to my $20 restriction. I'm only going to spend $20 when I go to the gas tank, when I go to fill up, because right now gas prices are $4.17, the highest they've ever been. And I saw that earlier and I couldn't believe it. I thought 2008 was the highest it ever been because oil at the time had hit a little under $150. But I did my research and I was wrong. So I had to look and see. $4.17 now. In California, everybody's getting it hard out there, right? California is getting hit hard with gasoline prices. I've seen prices as high as $5.50 in California. And for all of you who have premium, I'm praying for y'all. I'm definitely saying a prayer for y'all because I know a lot of y'all are going to have heart attacks when y'all go to fill up the major SUVs and those high performance luxury vehicles that y'all have. So again, keep the faith, stay in prayer, drink y'all water, and y'all might want to meditate as well because again, gasoline prices are through the roof. Now, I wanted to take a look at this article real quick. U.S. gas prices hit a record $4.17. Oh, what am I doing, y'all? I'm jumping ahead of myself. That's not what I'm supposed to be doing. Let me back up a minute. Let me back up a minute. Let me stop sharing the screen here. Why did y'all let me do that? All right, so we're doing the market rundown. We did the market rundown. We have to cover Russia and Ukraine, right? So the Russia and Ukraine updates. 2 million people have fled Russia since the Russian invasion began. All right, the United States has finally said they're going to ban oil imports from Russia. So that's a big deal. McDonald's, Starbucks, Pepsi, and Coca-Cola are not doing business in Russia anymore, or not doing total 100% business in Russia anymore. So we'll get into that a little bit later. And here's a little one that's a little bit of a left angle here. Venezuela releases imprisoned Americans after talks with the U.S. What does that have to do with Russia and Ukraine? Well, if you've been following politics, global politics for a while, you'll know that Venezuela is not like the United States. They are definitely in league with Russia. Venezuela is also a major oil exporter as well. They are a part of OPEC. So they are strategically aligning, in my opinion, the United States is strategically aligning with Venezuela to say, hey, you don't want to be dealing with those folks behind the Iron Curtain anymore. You want to rock with us. So this is going to be interesting. They got them to release 2 people out of jail. Let's see what happens as we go forward. I think there's definitely way more to the story than what meets the eye. And we know United States media, American media only covers a smidgen, and it's always biased and it's always full of propaganda. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. All right. So let's get back to the regularly programmed show so I can get back on course here. I can get back on course. So here we go. All right, so like I said, gasoline price is $4.17 according to AAA. That breaks the previous record of $4.11 a gallon that stood since July 2008. Remember, I said I didn't think this was the highest. I thought 2008 was the highest. Everything was crazy in 2008. You had the market falling, you had real estate falling, you had foreclosures going through the roof, and we had gas prices that were crazy. So they fact checked it. I'm sure they went and figured out what it was. All right. So as Russia continues its military offensive in Ukraine, gas prices are rising faster than they have since Hurricane Katrina slammed into oil platforms and refineries along the U.S. Gulf Coast in 2005. So again, all of these things, all of these shocks to the system impacts everything. We can no longer just say we're U.S. citizens, right? We live in a global economy. The whole world impacts us. So if you're only thinking, hey, I only care about what happens in America, that's going to hit your pocketbook. That's going to hit your wallet really harder than you're expecting, because you're not really paying attention to the shift that's been taking place for the last 50 years or so. So keep your head on the swivel and recognize that everything impacts something else. Everything impacts something else. All right. So here it says that, here it says gas prices rose 10% since early Monday. Y'all know I've been covering gas almost every day. And now we're at $4.17. And so that it says it's up 63 cents since last week, which is roughly 18 percentage points. I don't know how far it can go. Y'all tell me something. Everybody that's watching this, either in the live or watching the replay, how high do y'all think gasoline prices can go? Drop that in the comments in the chat for me. But it's continue to fight. Continue to run, because Russia and Ukraine are going to continue to fight. So it's going to be an issue. It's going to be an issue. All right. And so here, I also want to talk about this. Over 300 companies have withdrawn from Russia. Now, part of the reason why I've started to cover Russia, Ukraine, business, and all the intersections of it is because now is a great time to pay attention. It's always a good time to pay attention. Now is a great time to pay attention, because there's a lot more information that's going to be freely flowing that you can get about some of these companies in your overall portfolio. I do care about the humanitarian side of this, but I also know that money and politics are inextricably linked. You're never going to be able to separate them. And if we are to get our own financial freedom, per se, it comes in times like these. It comes to understand what's going on in times like these. So when we get out of these times, you can be bigger and stronger and more wealthier. All right. Now, again, 300 companies have withdrawn from Russia because of the invasion that they've done with Ukraine. Now, there's a professor at Yale who's put together this list who's been stumping all over major media, talking about the need for major U.S. corporations to exit Russia. And he has some stern talking points for some of the companies that don't, like a PepsiCo, right? While they said they're leaving, they're still leaving about 20,000 people employed through some farms. And we'll talk about that a little bit more, but there's some others that are on this list that have left, and there are some on this list that are still there. As the headline says, over 300 companies have withdrawn from Russia, but some remain. All right. So he's got this whole list. His name is Jeffrey Seinfeld, not Seinfeld, the actor or the comedian, but Seinfeld, the professor. And just some of these companies that have left: Accenture, which is an accounting / tech firm; Activision Blizzard, which is all the gaming; Adidas, Adobe, Airbnb, Alaska Airlines, Alcoa, Allianz, American Express, Anheuser-Busch. I guess they can't drink beer in Russia now. Apple. There's a lot that's on this list. BlackRock, Bloomberg, Boeing. There's a lot. And so I want y'all to keep notice of what's actually happening here, because it's not just what's happening on the surface, right? What are the other economic wars that are taking place? I talked about Venezuela a minute ago. That's all about economics. Not going to be, it's all about economics, right? These companies leaving this country, or these companies leaving this country, that's an economic war in and of itself, because there are political officials putting pressure on some of these companies to leave. Because again, McDonald's, Pepsi, Coke, they weren't so quick to get ready to leave. But here are some more companies that are saying, listen, we are not with all this, and we're going to go. Diageo, which is another major liquor company, one of the biggest in the world, suspends all shipments to Russia. DirecTV cut Kremlin-backed TV networks. Disney paused new content releases. Electronic Arts suspends all operations in Russia. I mean, this is adding up to a lot of money. A lot of money. And so, as you go through this and you look at this, and I see companies like McDonald's, McKinsey, Mercedes-Benz, the NASDAQ, Nike, this is a lot of money that's going to be lost in this economy. So what's going to happen? As I talked about earlier, a lot of companies make money in Russia. What's going to happen? One of their funding sources is going to be cut. One of their profit generation centers is going to be cut. That's going to have a major impact on stock performance, overall profit, overall performance for shareholders. Some people are going to be mad. Some people are going to be okay with it. One thing that's going to be really interesting, when they do reporting at the end of the quarter, they're going to say, this company lost XYZ dollars. It was a loss. But when you look at the fine print, you'll see that many of them still made billions and billions of dollars of profit. So, for us, at least for me, growing up, it's like, well, they still made billions. What's there to be sad about? These companies like to fight for every penny. Every penny. So just keep your eye on that. Keep your eye on that. This is very interesting. Very interesting. All right. And I wanted to talk about this story as well. This is reported in the Wall Street Journal. And again, talks about It talks about Coke, Pepsi pullback from Russia as Ukraine crisis deepens. And so there's a couple notes here, right? So McDonald's said it was temporarily closing its roughly 850 restaurants in the country, and it will continue paying the 62,000 people it employs in Russia. No money coming in, but there's money still going out, right? The company said it couldn't yet determine when it might reopen the restaurants in Russia and would consider whether any additional steps might be required. Coca-Cola, Coke's business in Russia and Ukraine, contributed about 1 to 2% of its operating revenues and income in 2021. The company had an ownership interest of about 21%, and Coca-Cola HBC, right? So the way Coca-Cola is set up is that they have different bottlers. And so Coca-Cola as a whole owns all of Coke. They own the recipe, and then they license it out to all the bottlers around the world. So I know I'm here in Philadelphia. We have a bottling plant here. Whoever's that has licensed the formula for Coca-Cola to make it, they have rights to make it here. But that's it. And they can't give it to anybody. It's supposed to be like top secret, locked up in a vault somewhere. So it's going to be really, really interesting. Really interesting. All right. So going forward, so like, yeah. All right. So we got that. And there's a couple other things here, right? PepsiCo or Pepsi is reluctant to shut down its Russian unit, which includes a large dairy business it brought for about $5 billion a decade ago. In an email to staff Tuesday, PepsiCo chief executive Raymond Lagarta wrote that the companies has a responsibility to continue to operate there because tens of thousands of Russians depend on the company for their livelihood and for daily essentials like milk and baby food. Revenues from Pepsi's Russian unit was $3.4 billion in 2021. That's not anything to sneeze at. That's a nice piece of change right there. That's a nice piece of change. The impact of writing off the Russian unit will be minimal because it contributes less to PepsiCo's earnings, some of the people familiar with the matter said. While that's true, never let a crisis go to waste. So when they get time to write this off or write it down, as they say, it's going to be bigger than what they have on the books. I would bet dollars of donuts on that. And so here it also says New York State Comptroller Thomas DiNapoli, who oversees over the large public pension funds in the U.S., wrote last week to PepsiCo, McDonald's, and other companies asking them to consider pausing or ending their operations in Russia. So remember I said political figures are getting involved? Again, I always tell y'all, politics is a part of everything. So there's always something going on behind the scenes. So you got to understand that. All right. So here it says also PepsiCo has 20,000 employees in Russia. The company's 24 plants and 3 R&D centers that make soft drinks, potato chips, milk, yogurt, cheese, baby food, baby formula. The bulk of its Russian business is Wimbledon, right? A dairy and juice company. So again, Pepsi or Coke will go and find other bottlers, other distributors across the world, partner with them to then distribute their products and services. So again, this is going to be interesting as it keeps going. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be fun in any way, shape, or form. But it's going to be painful for Russians. But guess who else is going to be painful for? Folks like you and I, right? I wrote a post on Instagram the other day when oil had hit 123. Now it's at like 125. I said, it's about to be scooter season. So y'all better break out your scooters because gas prices are going up. There's a food shortage. Wheat prices are going up. You're not going to want to be moving too much because it's going to cost you way too much. So keep that all in mind. Now, y'all know what we do every day as we go through. And as we bring the show to the end, we'd like to talk about our affirmation of the day. So I attract abundance and success into my life. I attract abundance and success into my life. I attract abundance and success into my life. Again, I love these affirmations. I've always done them. Well, not always, but I've done them for a long time. And I think after looking at all this gruesome stuff, we need a little bit of positivity to go out and do the rest of our day, right? When you do these affirmations, say them repeatedly. Think about how you feel in that moment. Think about how you want to feel, right? And project those emotions and put it out into yourself, but also put it out into the world. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to say these as you just walk around, right? We'll sing rap songs. We'll sing music in the car. Get some affirmations, right? Reprogram your mind, reprogram your thoughts. It'll help make things a lot better and a lot brighter. All right, y'all. Y'all continue to be great. Excuse me. Y'all continue to be great. Always be loved and always seek the light. Until next time, Kamari Ellis out. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.